Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. Red-haired Shanks is one of the most mysterious characters among the Yonko, and he's always demonstrated that he doesn't really care much about treasures, but has still kept a watchful eye over Teach, and most especially Luffy's actions. In the case of Teach, the reasons are already quite clear, because this pirate presents the greatest threat to the world because of his great ambition, and he's spared no effort to achieve this, because we've already seen that Blackbeard can play the long game and is more than patient to wait for his moment. However, the close attention that Shanks holds for Luffy is quite different. Shanks appears to be watching Luffy to achieve his true goal in life, something that may involve Luffy's devil fruit, known as the power of Nika, the sun god. So in today's video, we're going to talk about our expectations of what Shanks' true goals might be, what relationship Luffy and the power of the sun god might have in relation to this goal, and how Luffy may in fact be an essential piece to finding the One Piece treasure. Before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that old YouTube algorithm, and it keeps motivating us to make more content. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, quite a long time ago, Shanks was found in a chest by Roger during Zebek's attack on God Valley. And during this event, Garp and the world nobles were on the island, and the only way for Shanks to have reached this island is through the nobles, which means that Shanks could very well be the son of a world noble. After all, his real name is Shanks Fearland, a last name totally unknown to us, but it seems to belong to some celestial dragon family, because the simple fact is that Shanks managed to have a private conversation with the Gorosei, even though he's a world-renowned pirate. In his search for the One Piece treasure, along with his former captain Goldie Roger, Shanks may have discovered his origin, who his parents were, and the great influence that they had, and this might have given Shanks a new purpose in life, something that could be far beyond becoming a great pirate, something that could be inside the One Piece treasure. This goal may even have a really large connection with Joy Boy, but more specifically, the power that this figure has, the power of the sun god, a power described as liberating, removing all limitations from its wielder. This is the power that Luffy currently has, and it seems to have made Shanks visibly happy because now his dream may finally be able to come true, because upon learning about Luffy's awakening, we saw that Shanks began his quest for the One Piece treasure, a quest that Shanks didn't really seem to be very interested in throughout the story. Since the disbanding of Roger's crew, Shanks gained more and more strength and built a crew so he could achieve his life goal. And once his crew was formed, it seemed like the most important mission that he had was to obtain the fruit of the sun god that was currently in the possession of the world government. And as far as it seems, it looks like Shanks really intended to get that exact fruit, because even Who's Who that was under the order of protecting this fruit wondered why the red-haired pirates would attack a navy ship that was carrying just a simple fruit like the Gomu Gomu no Mi. After all, this is a fruit that no one really knew about its true origin, but Shanks somehow seemed to know about the deeper ability and power of this fruit. However, his plan was temporarily ruined by Luffy afterwards. When Shanks and his crew first met Luffy, through an oversight, or at least something that looked like an oversight, Luffy ended up eating the fruit of the sun god Nika and obtained for himself the great power contained within this mythical Zoan-type devil fruit. Now obviously Shanks was pretty annoyed with Luffy because this fruit is needed to fill his main purpose. But upon thinking better about what might have just happened, Shanks realized that it may not have been a mistake that Luffy ate the fruit, because in the future, Luffy could be the one to help him complete his goal. So before heading back out to sea, Luffy gave his straw hat, his most precious treasure, to Luffy to ensure that Luffy would come back to find him at some point in his journey, maintaining a bond between the two of them. Since then, Shanks has followed Luffy's growth very closely as a pirate and has always taken note of when the moment might come that they could meet again to fulfill Shanks' truer goal. Now, throughout Luffy's journey, the entire world and us as the readers have seen that he has been able to turn his fruit that was really useless at the time into quite a powerful one, allowing him to face more and more powerful enemies all over the world. Even us, the most dedicated readers who have looked and combed the volumes for even the smallest details, were fooled because there were slight hints about the advanced concepts about devil fruit, and even Oda gave us little hints that Luffy may in fact have a Zoan fruit, but it was still hard to figure out until we saw the full picture much later. Through his gear system, Luffy has been able to change his forms in ways that other Parameses just can't do. And even in conversations, there have been hints that Luffy may have had a Zoan devil fruit. A great example of this is Luffy's conversation with Momonosuke during the Punk Hazard arc. Momonosuke asked Luffy how to de-transform out of his dragon form, and Luffy ironically says that he didn't know because he didn't possess a Zoan fruit. But the biggest hint ever given to us was during the Skypiea arc, in which we were introduced to the existence of the Sun God. Now, we hadn't heard his true name at that point, and with Wano's bow to this deity, this was further explained, revealing the name and showing to us the silhouette of the former bearer, who looks awfully similar to Luffy when he was dancing around the bonfire on that Sky Island at the end of the arc. During the Wano arc, in the fight between Jinbei and Who's Who, we discovered that the Sun God was called Nika, and that it was responsible for bringing freedom to all races, in addition to destroying those who were responsible for imprisoning and holding people under their boot. And when we finally saw Luffy's fruit awaken, we had it confirmed from the Gorosei themselves that the Gomu Gomu no Mi actually did not exist, and the real name of the fruit that Luffy possessed was the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika, a mythical type Zoan fruit. This fruit was considered legendary even to the Gorosei because for over 800 years, no one has ever managed to possess its power, which indicates that the fruit belonged to possibly the previous Joy Boy, an extremely important character responsible for many great things in the past. So as our story has moved on from Wano, it looks like Shanks is now much more interested in Luffy now that the young pirate has managed to awaken his fruit's power, and seemingly has become the new Joy Boy of this era. And Shanks even passed near Wano, where Luffy and his allies were, and said that now was the time to find the One Piece. This moment arrived only because Luffy had managed to awaken his fruit, proving that Luffy is truly connected to Shanks' plans to obtain the greatest treasure in the world, or at least perhaps something that is in that treasure. Many in the community have speculated that Joy Boy's power may be in fact the key to unlocking this great treasure, since he was the owner of this treasure. Joy Boy was responsible for bringing the One Piece to Laugh Tale, and somehow may have managed to lock the treasure so that only the worthy person could get it and open it. As we saw in the past, when Roger found the One Piece, he didn't take any gold from this treasure. Roger and his crew just stood there laughing and looking at the One Piece. And while laughing, Roger said that it just wasn't the time for him to be there. And Roger even went on to say that he'd wished that he had lived in the same time as Joy Boy, which means that only Joy Boy is probably able to open this treasure. And knowing this, Shanks might be hoping that Luffy, or even he, can find the Last Road Poneglyph, and in this way, find the greatest treasure in the world. After Luffy ate the Nika Nika fruit, this not only benefited Shanks, but Luffy as well, because as he built his strength and eventually awakened his fruit, this has made him extremely strong. And especially in his awakened state, he's gained physical strength as well as stamina, and his body even seems to be able to withstand any source of damage. However, his weakness to blades and cutting still seems to remain. During the Wano arc, and also during points in this Egghead Island arc, we've seen Luffy able to take incredibly powerful hits that would easily have taken the life of anyone else. But with this new and improved body, Luffy is now able to utilize the ability to inflate his body without the need to pump air into it, making his body grow as large as he wants using his will alone. Luffy is also able to throw around massive amounts of weight, and even managed to throw Kaido from side to side when he was in his full dragon form. And it seems he has no further restriction on how far he can stretch, because now he has the fruit capable of breaking all restrictions that he had in relation to his rubber body, truly living up to the title that the Nika fruit has, bringing freedom not only to people, but also true freedom to the bearer of the fruit. So this great power could be the very key needed to open the One Piece, bringing revelations that can change the entire world, a power and riches that Joy Boy kept hidden for quite a long time until the right person would be able to find it. So with all that said, we'd now love to know what you think about it. What do you think Luffy's role is in Shanks' plan? And do you think Shanks is still on the good guy side? Or do you think, like some in the community have discussed, that Shanks could, rather than Emu, be the final end bad guy? That he has some kind of sinister plan in mind for Luffy? Secondly, what do you think it is about Nika's power that is needed to acquire the One Piece? Is it something that only he can do, or perhaps the fact that he has true freedom? It's that freedom that would open up the container or or makes something move? Or is it perhaps something that none of us have been able to imagine yet? Let us know what you think about all that in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we'd like to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.